Hey guys, it's Josiah here back again with another video. Now in this video, we're going to be going through all the offer mistakes I've seen people do when creating the offer for their agency so they can start booking appointments and scaling their agency. Now, if you don't know who I am, I'm Josiah, other people could be Jozy, and I've helped agencies, over 160 plus agencies, scale their own agency by implementing AI outbound systems. And I've scaled my own agency using this from 0 to 50K in just under 90 days. So everything I'm saying here, I've literally done so much work and make sure getting an offer dialed in for so many other agency owners like yourself and helping them scale, whether that be past 10K, 100K, even 200K per month, right? So if you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, and then let's get into the video. So I wanted to make this video just going through a few mistakes I've seen when people actually creating their offer. And I want you to make sure you don't do these mistakes. So when you actually are outreaching or perhaps presenting your offer to potential clients, you have the highest chance of getting the appointment or the sale, right? And when coming out via LinkedIn, email, or whatever platform that you're using. So let's get further into it because I've got a nice list for you guys here. So the first thing here is that everyone talks about offer, right? But the main thing about this is making sure your offer is irresistible, right? And in order for your offer to be irresistible, it goes through these 3 or 4 key elements. So the first element is the desired outcome, okay? Now, when I talk about desired outcome, it's actually just talking about the transformation that your client wants. Now, when it comes to the transformation, you want to have these few things in mind. So the first thing you want to do is be specific, okay? When I say be specific, I mean actually understand who the ideal client is, right? So if you're targeting, let's say, med spas, who are med spa's ideal client? They could be middle-aged women in Brooklyn. Let's say a med spa in Brooklyn, they want middle-aged women. So when you're saying, hey, and what do they want to do with the women is get an appointment with them, okay? And it's not only just ideal client, it's actually what they want to get out from the ideal client. Is it a lead? Is it an appointment, right? Is it a client, ideally, okay? And what things can you actually deliver with your service? And now, if you're especially a marketing agency or not, every single thing that you do can be correlated to revenue, correlated to getting the ideal client, right? I'll give you an example. Paid ads, literally getting that message in front of clients so the clients can give you their contact details, which is a lead that can then turn into an appointment. Then I'm going to do something like content, posting content so the content go viral. That's the whole bloody point of content, right? Nurture and to go viral as well. So then more people can be aware of that business. So then there's more likelihood that people trust that business and therefore do business with that business. Okay. Now branding, positioning, right? If someone looks at all the other brands, all the other med spas, and they see this one has a great website, this one is more aligned to us. So let's say a med spa it's just normal med spa. We have one med spa that is just a general med spa. We have one med spa that is literally on the website is positioned to solving black people's bloody skin or black people's medical treatment or aesthetic treatment, right? Now, a black person, right, or black lady, if she sees one and one of them is more positioned to help more black women, right, she's going to pick the black woman one, right? No matter how the other one looks like, she's going to pick the black woman one and she's going to pay that price as well because it's more targeted to her. Vice versa, if there's a Chinese one or bloody Russian one, whatever it is, because the branding is more positioned to, hey, we work with this type of people, we help these type of people, then they're more likely to actually do business with you. So whatever marketing service that you do can all be referenced back to adding revenue to that prospect, okay? Now, we just need to make sure that it's perceived as that, okay? So the first thing is be specific. So middle-aged woman in, let's say, Brooklyn, Hawaii, wherever you want to go, but that could be an example of it being specific. Now, being quantifiable. Now, when you're being quantifiable is how much of these ideal clients or how much of these transformation do they want in what specific time, right? So for example, let's do the med spa example. We can help you get 30 prepaid appointments with middle-aged women in Brooklyn, right? Within a month, okay? So that means that in a month, they're going to get 30 of these. So they know when you're asking for, let's say, $5,000 up front, right? They're like, okay, $5,000, that makes sense because if I get 30 of these, I'm going to close 3 of them is going to equal to 12K per month in profit, right? So again, it makes it easy and quantifiable. Now, the quantifiable thing is basically a plus, right? If you don't want to be quantifiable, you can just use it. But if you add the quantifiableness to your offer, it's going to make it stand out for all the other people that just hey, we'll just do this. But the prospect doesn't know how much of what you're offering can actually get, okay? And in what time frame, okay? Then that's some quantifiableness. So if you don't really, this is another tip. If you don't really know how to be quantifiable, we just use we'll double the appointments. Will help you double wherever you're going right now with the next 6 to 12 months and just give us a long enough time frame. Okay. And that's another thing, if your offer is harder to fulfill, I would try increase, it's not say harder, it takes longer to fulfill. I would try increase the perceived value of it. So for example, let's say SEO, right? SEO takes 6 to 9 months to really start getting things going in SEO. So instead of us just saying, hey, in 30 days, we're going to give you this small percentage, I would say we'll double what you're doing in 6 to 9 months, right? Because then they're more easily able to justify the cost because they're going to have literally doubled their business, right? In 6 to 9 months via, let's say, your SEO strategy. Okay. So another thing as well is removing the pain associated with the way they're currently doing things. So for example, let's say if a business, right, currently gets appointments or sales via cold calling, networking, or spending money on ads, these were inefficient, right? Or people don't like doing these ways because it's a certain type of action. People hate cold calling leads, right? People hate bloody feeling like they're working, right? People hate creating ad creatives. People hate calling the lead from the ad and then never picking up and then doing X, Y, Z, right? People hate all these little intricacies of their current system. So then what you can do is say, hey, we can help you get the desired outcome with a quantifiable time frame without actually having the pain of cold calling leads, spending money on ads, and or for example, not having to ever call a single lead ever again, right? Like that way of wording without actually ever doing a pain ever again is going to make people think like, oh my God, this is a better new way, right? That we could actually do. It's better than currently I'm doing. And it's actually going to make my life a lot easier, right? And that's the main thing. You just want to make it sound like the life is going to be easier by doing your way of thinking, your way of method, right? And these essentially could build up whole offer. You could have a quantifiableness. You can have a transformation. You can actually talk about making sure that the pain is going to go away. And that would be literally the foundation from the offer. Okay. Now, all the rest of the things I'm going to say is just additions that you can add to your offer, depending on the market that you're targeting or depending on how complex your offer is. Okay. Now, another thing that you can do is add a mechanism. Now, a mechanism is one of the most important things, especially if your market is online, right? Or they've just been burned in the past, because it's going to make it sound even more newer, right? Than all the current things that they've tried in the past. So what you want to do is break down your whole service, right? And you want to find things in your service that sounds new or sexy, or the things that actually get people results, right? So for example, let's say you're doing ads, and let's say the thing that you do is UGC creatives. UGC creatives sound new and sexy, right? Not a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people are doing static images, right? So for example, we could just reach out to people and say, hey, we'll help you get prepaid appointment by for example, by finding middle-aged women in your area that's going to do viral content for you, right? Or we have a pool of middle-aged women in Brooklyn that are happy to do viral content for you, and then we can advertise it so we can get an extra $30 per prepaid appointments in a single month, right? That makes it sound new. It's like, oh my God, like how is he going to get bloody 30-year-old middle-aged woman in my area, right? I don't know, I'm picking on Brooklyn on this video, but in Brooklyn, that is going to basically advertise everything for me. And for that, it sounds new to them. Okay. So I want you to really look back into your own service and look at what are the things that people find new and sexy, right? Or what are the things that get people results? I'll give you an example. So when we were running, we used to do LinkedIn voice notes, right? So we used to use that in the market to say, hey, we'll help you get these clients via LinkedIn voice notes. And people are like, what? Like, how are you doing that at scale, right? And it made people curious to find out, like, what is this? Okay. Again, find something in your service. Every service has this. It may be a methodology. It may be a way that you do things, right? And just make it sound more attractive. So say you can use this. So we would do XYZ so you can XYZ, right? So we would use our LinkedIn voice notes so you can build 2 to 5 calls each and every single day, right? We would use our UGC creatives so you can stand out with the other med spa in the area. Okay. That again is a nice little tip for you guys to use. So then once you have a mechanism, then you want to go in terms of a risk reversal. So a risk reversal is it can change. It can literally change the offer, right? Because at the end of the day, you're targeting strangers, right? And these strangers have never done business with you. And some of them be like, okay, what if this goes wrong? And everyone is thinking like, as humans, we're kind of built to think of the worst thing that could happen, the worst case scenario, right? And a guarantee, whether that be a money back guarantee or we'll work for free until we do guarantee, is something that, in my opinion, especially if we're going to like more competitive market, it's a must, right? And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, never do a guarantee or never do. XYZ. It's fine. Like you don't need a guarantee. I'm not saying you need it, but if you want to have a competitive advantage, right, which is having a bit of more leverage in the market, having a guarantee is going to help you, right? Now, there's a lot of things you can do to save yourself from the guarantee. Make sure the client has the XYZ, And for example, you can advertise a guarantee, but you don't have to give the guarantee out to every single person that you do, right? Because you could have the same qualification for the guarantee. So if people don't meet that qualification, then they'll just have a normal service, right? And then you can explain to them why they don't qualify for the guarantee. So that's a nice trick that you can use, right? To actually say that you actually do offer a guarantee, but to selective people, okay? So now, for example, I would add this to my message saying, hey, we can help you get like 30 prepaid appointments, or you don't pay, or you get your money back. And even if you want to be more strict, you get your money back with an extra on top, okay? And what you can say if you want to be more ethical in the marketing, you can say, however, there are criteria to be met, right? That could be a nice way that you can phrase it. So you can let the prospect know that not everyone qualifies for that guarantee, okay? So the next thing as well that you can do is add case studies. Now, a case study is, you can have a case study and remove a guarantee, and you still have literally the same amount of, let's say, leverage and impact and resonation to the offer, because a lot of people can make the claim. Not a lot of people can back up the bloody claim, right? Not a lot of people can back it up. So you can make all these claims you want, but if you have a case study that backs up this specific thing that you just made, it's going to resonate way deeper and way more than someone who just made the bloody claim without actually showing proof that they can make the claim, okay? So what we want to do is find out a case study that you've done who've actually doubled someone's business, right? And if it's fine, if you don't have a case study, I will lean more into the guarantee, because again, you're just making it sound risk-free, okay? What you can do as well, this is kind of black hat, but it does work, right? So what you can do is say, companies like XYZ, like big players in the market, have used this system to scale to, I just hit this, to scale to XYZ. So you're not saying that you help these people, but they are using the system. For example, paid ads. Every single bloody company is using paid ads. So if you're running paid ads, you can say, and you're targeting, let's say, skincare brands, you can say, L'Oreal has used this system to actually scale to multi-millions, right? Now, they've used paid ads, right? They use paid ads as a system, but you didn't help them specifically with that. And that, again, can give more credibility to the claim that you're making. Again, a nice way to showcase the value of your case study could be, hey, we helped client name goes from get, let's say, X results in X time. We helped L'Oreal, in this case, double the revenue in 3 months by using the system. And again, there'll be a nice way of showing them. So in terms of kind of just summary, that's all it. Make sure you, with the desired outcome, you make it specific, quantifiable. You also remove all the pain associated with the current way of doing this. And with mechanisms, you want to make sure that you make your mechanism sound new and actually sound exciting, and actually pick 1 or 2 things that you're currently doing that is new, right? Or that people are doing, but they're not doing the way you're doing it, right? Or is not as common. That's the best way to say it. Then risk reversal, you want to add a reversal to make it sound like a risk-free, whether it be a money back guarantee or we'll work for free until we do. And then you want to make sure that you have a case study in the offer, or perhaps you find an example of a company that has successfully used the system to actually scale to the next level, right? So that is all from this video. If you want to take this, implement it, 100% recommend it. If you need help actually implementing this into your agency, there's a link below for us to chat. But other than that, if you like this video, just like, subscribe. It's going to do much more, help me out in the algorithm. Just pause now, give it a like, give it a subscribe. And then that's all it from this video. And I'll catch you in the next one.